This video demonstrates how to make a Faraday bag a secure case for your smartphone or other small devices, which isolates the phone completely from the cellular and other radio networks, making it impossible for the phone to track you, to spy on you, to obey someone other than you, basically. Now, this is a follow-on video to a previous video where I demonstrated some products that you can buy which do this automatically. So this is a case from that you can order on Amazon, for example. It has a metal lining in it. You can wrap your phone, which you put in airplane mode, insert it in here, seal it. It's hermetically sealed, and you can test that this is working correctly by placing a phone call to the phone. You need to put the phone in out of airplane mode, in normal mode, in order to run the test to verify that the case works, that the seal is correct. However, you can verify that it's working. When you actually use this and take it with you, you put it in airplane mode, wrap it in an insulating piece of paper or cloth to prevent interactions between the case, the metal in the case, and your phone, which can sometimes happen. So these are very convenient. It's a good idea to get at least two of them so you have a backup. They're very easy to misplace or lose. And this allows you to take your phone with you for emergencies, for special situations, but otherwise it's completely isolated. It can't listen to you, it can't watch you, it can't broadcast your location to someone, any of those things. Now, failing this, another option are hermetically sealed metal containers, such as this one here. This is actually, you can see here, let me turn it around. So this is Pepperidge Farms Pirouette. It's a chocolate candy. It's very sweet, not very good for you. Several different kinds of food are currently marketed in these. There are also some games, like I found a game of dominoes, which are also in metal cases like this. They're perfectly sealed, like that. Okay, and you can simply put your phone in the case like that. Okay, so those are ways, and these are available at a lot of supermarkets or other places right now. But say the government, for some reason, bans these or prevents them, somehow they're no longer available, or for some other reason you need to make something with other readily available materials. So let me put these aside, and now we'll get into the do-it-yourself part of the presentation showing how you can do this. So what you need is, and I'm sure many people would think of this, this is aluminum foil. Now, unfortunately, aluminum foil is pretty fragile. It's hard to establish the kind of hermetic seal that you need with aluminum foil. If you just wrap it around the phone, you'll often find there are minuscule cracks, but the signal will get through. You can call the phone in tests. So you have to do something special. I'm also going to use some Ziploc bags or a single Ziploc bag as a protective coating. Now, if you're familiar with do-it-yourself, with arts and crafts, with sewing, you'll easily see better options to make a more durable, easier to use case. I just want to illustrate the basic concept of how you would do it, or a way to do it, and this is a way you can do very quickly. So what we want to start with here is the aluminum foil. I'm going to set the Ziploc bags aside for now to make room. What I'm going to do is we're going to get a big long sheet of this, at least 2 feet. Let me check with the ruler. So it's good to have, by the way, scissors. This is painter's tape, although other tapes could be used, but this does work. And a ruler is a good idea. And so let's see how long this is. And I'm going to make it a little bit longer to give myself plenty of room to trim and manipulate this. So let's see. So we're going to put this about here. Okay, so we'll just kind of do that, and maybe we'll bring it out a little bit more. Okay, so I would say that's probably close enough. Okay, so now I cut it with the Reynolds cape. I'm going to put it away so it's not in the way while I'm working. And what we'll do is fold this over as the first step. And it's your option whether you want the shiny side in or out. That shouldn't affect the performance of it. Okay, so we folded this over. So remember, we're making essentially a bag that we can drop the phone in out of the tin foil. Okay. So these things are sometimes called Faraday bags or Faraday containers. I think of them as a secure case for your phone. Okay, so that's fine. Now, it's important to watch what I'm going to do next. So this would not be a good seal at all. So the first thing you might think of would be, okay, I'll fold it over one time. Okay, like this. So I fold it at the end here. I'm going to fold it over one time. Maybe that will work. Well, in fact, in tests that does not work. You usually get the radio signal going right through it. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold it over 2 times, and this will work. Okay, so we seal it there fully, and we're going to do this at the other side as well. All right, so let's put the ruler down to give us kind of a guide, and we'll do this, and we'll do something sort of like this. Take the ruler out, and we've got 1 time. Now that is proven not to be enough. You need a really, really good hermetic seal to prevent the radio signals from getting in and out of the bag, in and out of the secure case. So we do that. Now, we're also going to fold over the bottom, again, to make it tougher and make it harder for it to do anything, to communicate. So we do that. Now, we want to keep this seal really tight for the future. And the way we are going to do that, and it also strengthens. So one of the problems is that the foil is fragile. So, all right, okay. So we'll take the painter's tape, and we'll measure out the painter's tape, and we'll trim the painter's tape. We'll get a piece of painter's tape. This blue tape. Other tapes may work. There may be better tapes. This is, however, painter's tape is readily available all over the place. And so we tape it down, so it's going to stay down, and we're going to tape it over here. And you could actually cover the entire bag with the tape to strengthen it, but I'm not going to do that in this demonstration. So we'll do the same here. Okay, so we'll do the same here on the other side. Okay, we're going to do that. And we'll start up here at the opening of the bag, like that. And we're going to go down here. And again, I'm going to fold it over to, again, strengthen. So if you have extra length, it's probably better to do this, because actually that provides more strong material to reinforce the foil, which is fragile. So we're going to do another one here. Again, the goal is to hold the seals tightly in place and prevent the bag from leaking radio signals or receiving them through tiny cracks, as well as to reinforce the. So now notice what we have here now. We have a bag like this, and at this point I'm going to check how this compares in size to the Ziploc bags, and we'll see why that's important in a minute. Now, I don't think you have to use the Ziploc bags, but okay, so we want to shorten this. Let's see how this is going to work here. So what I've done is, let me make sure that this is all. You want to have your phone with you as you do this so you can tell how things are going to fit together here. Sorry, it didn't. As you can see, this is obviously not as easy to use as the commercial products. Although, again, I think someone with more sewing skills than me or other craft skills could probably make it much, much easier to do this. But I just want to show the basic idea of how you would do this. So the phone is now down in there. And what we want to do is be able to put this bag comfortably in the Ziploc bag. So that will protect the tin foil. Now, so let's just verify that this is going to work okay. Probably we're going to have to fold it over again, but okay, pretty good. All right. So the phone will fit in there, so we can see that. Now we need to do something here with the lid, or the open part of the bag, because obviously this remember, the foil is very fragile. It's easy to tear, it's easy to damage. So it's going to be opening and closing. So we're going to want to close the seal here tightly in order to prevent the. So what we're going to do is we will cut another piece of the painter's tape like this, and we're going to reinforce the opening here. So we want to make it stronger by using tape or some other material. Now, I think you could probably do things like put some cloth materials or other reinforcing materials with other adhesives on here, which would be much nicer looking and much more durable. But that's the basic idea. Okay, so there we are. All right, so that's that side. Now we want to reinforce the other side as well. So I flip it over. And remember, that this is where we're going to be opening and closing the bag fairly often. So it's going to wear out eventually, even with this kind of reinforcing tape. Probably more sophisticated reinforcement materials, you could get something that would last a really long time, which is what would be desirable. If possible, I'll do a later video demonstration of how you do it with other materials that are going to have a longer lifetime and look better visually. But for now, I just want to illustrate the concept of how you do this. Now again, we want to fold it over twice. So we fold it over one time here along the painter's tape, fold it over another time. Okay, and that's how we want to do it. So the phone fits inside. The phone is here. It's inside right now. And what I'm going to do is now give it a seal. Now in my, just wanted to show, in this type of much, professional or commercial product here, they use Velcro tabs or Velcro here. Probably you could actually get Velcro from a do-it-yourself place. Walmart has a lot of do-it-yourself stuff. Target, not so much. Maybe other stores that are smaller or less well-known. But Walmart still has a lot of do-it-yourself stuff, so you might be able to get something to do this. All right. So you close that up, and now we want to have a seal. So again, we're going to cut a small slice here of this, put that aside, and we put it here, and we seal it down. Now, in the future, so let me show the final part here. Now, this is obviously pretty fragile. If you put this in a backpack or some other way of bringing it with you, it'll probably get beat up pretty quickly. So in this simple home design, we get one of these food storage Ziploc bags, and we do this, and that will help protect it. Now, clearly you can do more sophisticated things. You could put paper in here, you could put cloth in here, you could make a much fancier design than this one. This is just a basic prototype, an example of what you could do. Something you could do very quickly, and so far we're at approximately 12 minutes in. It's something that you can do very quickly with readily available materials that you can get. And of course, all sorts of other kinds of bags, cloth bags, your purse would also work. So when you need to use it, you take it out, you pull this back. As you can see, it's not quite as easy to use as the commercial products. Unfold this. Remember, we want this to be a really good seal, and that's why it's double sealed like this. Fold it over twice. Open it, reach inside, and take your phone out. And here we have the phone. Now, again, just a reminder that when you use this, the phone should be in the airplane mode. If it's in regular mode, it will keep trying to talk to the network and run itself down. If you turn it off, it means it can take quite a while to boot it back up. And so if it's an emergency, and one of the main reasons for doing this rather than just leaving your phone at home is what if you have an emergency and you need to call 911 or some other thing like that comes up. So anyway, that's a phone. Again, you want to put the phone inside of a insulating material for now. Now, as probably some people realize, this could be lined with some kind of insulator itself, so you don't have to worry about the paper here. So that would make it easier to use. Let me flip it around like this. So you want to put it in sideways, landscape mode. And again, you're going to do this. You can see this tends to stick to this. That's not so desirable, so you have to pull it back, turn it over, seal it, and now you have a workable case. And I think, as I've said several times, I think if you have any kind of arts and crafts background or sewing, or those kind of things, you can see that this could be modified to be much more elegant, much easier to use than what I'm demonstrating. On the other hand, this can be put together by almost anyone very, very quickly. So if you need something like this, you want to take your phone with you and you want to keep it secure, and for whatever reason you can't get access to one of these metal containers, or these, and these right now are usually ordered online, so they could take days or weeks to get. And I wouldn't be surprised if they somehow disappear from Amazon and become difficult to find with the growing government surveillance and dictatorial practices, which are unfortunately spreading around the world and even here in the United States to a remarkable extent. So there you have it. This is a very simple way. One final thing is to always test these carefully, because this will work, but you want to make sure that it works. And so you need to do some multiple tests to make sure everything is fine. Because after all, this is a homemade device thing here. And as I said, it takes very little, just tiny cracks in the seals here. So it's important that it be folded over at least twice and taped and sealed very effectively. And you want to experiment, test it several times to make sure that it's working okay. This is very fragile, so you need to test it as it ages to make sure that it's still working okay. That's not ideal, and as I said, you can almost certainly use better materials, cloth, felt, other types of tape, fancier stuff that I don't have here that isn't necessarily available at home. You might have to order it online or go to Walmart, for example, which I know has a lot of do-it-yourself stuff, materials. Target may have some of the other stores. Obviously, you may have a mom and pop, a small chain store, some other place. Many of these materials, actually all of these materials, I think, are available at many pharmacies, many drugstores. That concludes this demonstration of how to make a Faraday bag out of tinfoil that will work and can be transported with you and will secure your smartphone or other devices, completely isolating them from the network, and also it blinds them. And you probably should be a bit concerned here with the microphone, so you might want to put some padding and other material in here to make sure that the microphone can't record you. So remember, the phone could actually be recording you even though it's isolated from the network. Same way with the video. There's no problem with video here because it's completely sealed up, and the audio would be pretty poor. But if you want to be really careful, you might want to put some sound absorbing padding of some type, just cloth or something like that. Hopefully in some future videos I'll get into some of those issues as well and show some more demonstrations. This concludes this video presentation. If you like this video, please click like. Please click subscribe and the notification bell if you would like to receive more content from us. You can avoid internet censorship by subscribing directly to our RSS news feed. Please consider sharing the link by email or on your website or blog, in addition to liking, upvoting, or sharing on increasingly censored, advertising beholden, and big company social media. We have encountered such censorship. Mathematical Software is developing software to automate data analysis, reducing the risks of costly errors and improving results. You can support our work financially by subscribing on our Patreon page. Scan the QR code in the lower right corner to get the Patreon link. Our Patreon link is also in the show notes below.